guys, it's Mrs. McGee. I'm just going to do my first lesson for you on here today. Bear with me because it's going to be a little bit awkward. I have not done this before, but I'm sure we'll get better at it. I'm just going to first give you a little tour of my art studio and where I work when I'm at home and what's going on here. I hope you guys are all doing okay. I miss you very much, and I hope you're staying busy, you're staying healthy, staying away from people, and soon enough we'll be able to be together and at school again. So I will start off with my little tour. So if you look here, this is my art studio. This is where my son is going to be doing a whole wall of painting some of his artwork. It's a little bit of a mess now because I have my kids in here, but this is where I do my art. A robot we made this week, and this is where I'm going to kind of be teaching you some things while we're away from each other. All right, so our first lesson today is going to be the self-portrait. So if you have been in my class before, 8th graders have definitely done this last year. 7th graders, this is something we were going to start in school, but we didn't get to. So I'm going to start it today, and then I'm going to post some other videos of how to do close-up of eyes and nose and mouth. And then I'd love to see you guys do your best self-portrait. There's lots of different ways to do them. You can do them realistically, which is makes it look, just try to make it look as much like you or a real person that you can. Or you can do it abstractly. So you could do half of your face a person, half of an animal, and you could do crazy colors. 8th graders, you guys all started off doing your abstract portrait. So on this project, if you want to continue doing a project similar to the one we did in class and finish that, that would be awesome. If you want to do a completely realistic one, I'd love to see that. I'll show you guys some examples of ones I've done after. All right, so let's get started. When you do a self-portrait or a portrait of anybody, it's always shoulders up. So you don't want to do the whole body. You're going to do the shoulders up, and you want to start with a line of symmetry. So you put the line right down the middle. Why do you think we do a line of symmetry? It's because a line of symmetry makes both sides of the face equal. All right? I'm going to do it in Sharpie so you can see a little bit better. So there is your line of symmetry. So when I'm drawing it, you're going to see my face is going to be as symmetrical as I can make it. All right? Then you're going to give yourself some guidelines. So I'm going to draw a line at the top that's like a rounded circle. All right? I'm going to draw a line right down here where I want my chin to be. Okay? So I'm going to say that I want my face to be this tall. All right? So from here, the hardest part of the self-portrait is actually getting the shape of the head. So we're going to start here, and we're going to bump out just 1/2 of the head. So your head is round at the top, and then as it comes towards your chin, it comes in more. Okay? Yes, it's kind of going to look like an alien shape head until we get it fully started. Okay? So now I'm going to look here, and I'm going to try to make this side of my face the same as this side. Okay? So you want to make sure you have an eraser available, because you're probably going to need to use it a little bit. So now I'm going to look at this and I'm going to measure. I'm going to measure in 3 spots. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go to the middle and go to the side and take that distance with my thumb and finger and bring it over here. And if it's equal, then that means they're symmetrical on both sides. Then I'm going to the middle. I'm going to bring it over here. Mine's a little bit off, as you can see. So I'm just going to bump my face off a little bit more out there. And then I'm going to go here, measuring from the middle line to my chin. I'm going to bump it over and see if it's symmetrical over there. Okay, so that is how you kind of get the shape of your head. It's larger at the top, and then it comes in for your chin. If you want to then shape your chin a little bit more like your own chin, so if you have more of a jawline, or you have a rounded chin or a pointed chin, you can do that too, or whoever you're going to be drawing. So now we get into our guidelines, all right? Your guidelines are to show you where you put all the facial features on your face. Your facial features are your eyes, your eyebrows, your nose, your ears, your lips, all right? Your hairline, which is right here, which a lot of people always forget to do. So first thing first is your eyes are actually halfway down your face. When I say that, everyone always thinks that I'm making that up, but I'm not, all right? So everyone wants to draw their eyes up here, because you always forget about your hairline. So if you look at my face, see how my eyes are actually halfway down from the top of my head. Top of my head is here, the bottom of my head is here, okay? So I have about this much space of my hairline that I need to make sure I draw. So I'm going to draw a line in the middle of my face, okay? Then your nose is halfway between this line and your chin line. So you draw a line for your nose there. Then your mouth is halfway between your nose line and your chin line, and you draw a little line for it there. Around on your eye line, you want to be able to fit 5 equal eyes across, okay? Fun fact is the space between your eyes is actually the space of one other eye. So you need to be able to fit an extra eye in between your eyes, and you want 5 eyes evenly spaced across this line. If you want, you can use a ruler and measure it and have the middle one equal here on this cross, or you can eyeball it like I like to do. So I'll show you here. So if this is going to be 1/2 of my face, I'm going to say that's 1/2 of an eye, right? I'm going to bring the other half over here. So I take this space, and then I bring it over here, and that's 1 eye. So see how this here, if I were to draw it, could be the shape of an eye. I'm going to bring that same space over, and I'm going to bring that same space over here. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and they should be equally spaced across the face. Okay, if you can see, I'll put it up a little bit straight like that. So obviously we're not going to have a real eye in here, but that would be your guide eye, right? That center spot right here. So when drawing your eye, I'm going to do a close-up on the side here. You have this, right? It looks like this. This is where my eye is going to go into, all right? But if I'm here, you want to start by drawing it kind of like a football shape. The top goes up like that, and then the bottom is a little bit smaller. But notice how it's very similar in size to a football, all right? A large thing about the eye is people forget to do the eyelid. The eyelid is what makes it look real. So I'm going to come to the corner here, and I'm going to bring an eyelid, and it's going to take up 1/2 of the top part of my eye, okay? Really important thing about drawing your eye is you want to make sure that it comes to points on the side. So see how I have a point here and I have a point here. All of your eyes come to points on the edges, so you want to make sure you have that. Now, after I put my eyelid on the top part of that eye, I can get rid of that middle line. I don't need it anymore. Okay. Now I'm going to do my bottom eyelid. So your bottom eyelid is really little on the very edge of the bottom lid. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to be drawing my iris. The iris is the colored part of your eye. Look at somebody next to you though, or someone at your house. You don't see their whole eyelid. If you look at me, you don't see the top of my, you don't see the whole iris. You don't see the top of the colored part or the bottom part because my eyelids cover it. So you want to make sure that your eyelids are covering part of the top of the circle and part of the bottom one, okay? That again, that is called your iris, the colored part of your eye. If you were to show the whole thing, it's going to look like you're looking like this, okay? So you don't want to show the entire circle of it. You want the top lid and the bottom lid to cover it, all right? Let me pull you guys a little bit closer. Up there, okay. So now I'm going to put in my pupil. Does anyone know a fun fact about the pupil? It is a hollow hole. I know, don't test it out, but you have a very thick protective film over your eye. If you were to remove that protective film, that pupil inside your eye is actually a hollow hole. And it's the only part of the eye that sees anything. So it brings all the information that it sees out in the world and up to your brain, and that's how it tells you what you're looking at. Also, it gets really big and gets really small. It gets really big when the lights go out because it needs to get larger so it can take in more light so your eye can see what it's looking at. And when it's really bright, your pupil gets smaller, which the hole actually gets smaller, so that's because it doesn't need as much light to see. So when we draw our pupil, you can make it large or you can make it small, and you want to fill it in. You kind of start going back and forth, making a C like this. I like to leave a little dot inside of my pupil, and I like to call that the sparkle that makes you look alive, all right? So you want to make sure you have a little sparkle here. You could also leave a little sparkle up here in the iris part, okay? Now, when we talk about coloring the eye in, what you really want to be thinking about doing is striations. Striations are little lines. So all the way across here, you do little lines that go up to that pupil. Okay, if you're going to leave a sparkle, just leave that spot all the way up. But if you look at your eye or somebody else's eye really closely, your eye might be made up of all different colors. It might not just be one color. And it's also darker around the edge here. So I'm going to add a little bit of darker edge right around the edge of that iris. All right, so it goes up like that. And then you can start blending them, how we worked with blending with our colored pencil, blending with our regular pencils, and you can blend those lines right up. So they go darker on the edge of the iris, and then they get lighter as they get towards that dark pupil in the middle. Okay. So another thing that you want to add on to it is your tear duct. Your tear duct is a little spot right here. And that's the only part of your eye that creates the tears. And then they generally flow across your waterline here. They can come down on the side or they come down here, okay? We're going to add a tear duct just like that. So see how, if you can see really closely, I just added a little spot past the guidelines, okay? And that's for your tear duct. Now you also need to add your eyelashes. So a lot of people like to add eyelashes like this. This is how I've seen so many eyelashes. Sorry, but that kind of looks like a spider, right? Eyelashes don't really look like that. They come right off of your eyelid, so you're going to come right to the edge here, and you're going to do little teeny lines, and I'll show you like this so you can see, okay? Little tiny lines, just like that. And they curve away from this part of your eye, all right? And they're really little, they're light, and they kind of curve, and they're really close together. If you want to make your eyelashes a little bit bigger, you can, or you can make them a little bit smaller too. Okay, and see how it helps the eye make it look like it opens up. Then you can come to the bottom and you do really little ones. Again, going away from the spot, okay? Going away from the tear duct, you kind of have the eyelashes going down like this. Okay, then when you want to add some shadow to your eye, there's a little bit of shadow on that corners here, a little bit of shadow here, and then you can shade a little bit where the eyelids are to make it look like the eyelids are sitting on top of your eye. And so now that is a realistic looking eye, all right? So at this point, you're gonna want to go right on and put the eye onto your face, okay? I'm gonna do it very quickly and not super detailed so that we can move on to the next part. So if I'm gonna add my eye, again, doing my football shape, making sure that they're pointed on each side. The hard part is trying to get the eyes to look exactly the same. So again, if this is your first time doing it, don't worry about it. Just practice. Try to make it as perfect as you can. And if it's not, then we keep on practicing. All right? You erase the middle line. You can put your eyelid on. Okay, you got your iris, which is the colored part. You make sure you don't show the whole part of it. You color in your pupil, leaving a little sparkle. Again, your iris is over here, coloring in your the pupil part, okay? And then you have all your little lines going in here, which I'm not going to fully do because I just did it in details just so you guys can move on. Okay, so you'd want to take your time and do the details on your face as well. All right, now we're going to talk about the nose. The nose, I think, is the hardest part. A lot of people don't really understand how you make a nose look realistic, and you really can't until you add a lot of shading. And we're going to talk about shading and stuff after maybe a different lesson. Today we're just going to talk about how to draw it, and then we can talk about adding the shadows to it. And if you already know how to add the shadows, then go for it. After you draw it, I would love to see you attempt to add the shadows. And you can see where the shadows are when you look at your actual face. So the nose, you think about it, if you go to the edges of your nose and you go straight up, the nose lines up with your eyes, okay? So if I'm here and I'm gonna go straight down, that's how wide my nose is because it sits right in between my eyes, okay? The shape of the nose, I'm gonna draw it nice and big. I'll do it right here, okay? If this is where I'm putting my nose, like this, right here, okay? Your nose, yeah, and I'll bring you up closer. The shape of it should be something like this. You start here, your nostrils come up. There's a spot in the middle for the middle of your nose. It comes back down. And there's your nose. And then you want to draw these lines here. Another little line here. Your shadows for your nostrils sit just right under here. You don't actually have to show them huge. The more you show them, then it makes your nose look like you're looking at it from below. Okay? We erase our guidelines so you can see. Alright, and then you can draw a little round part up here, and then the little divot under your nose, alright? Erase these guidelines. And then these lines, a lot of people just go straight up with their nose lines like that, but that's not really realistic either, because your nose goes at an angle. So you can take your line, you can bring it up, and then it comes back up again when it comes up to your eyes like that. Okay? So I'm going to show you again right on the face, so you can see me do it on the face. Okay? So here's our face. Our nostrils starts here, comes back down, and wraps back around. Like that. And again, you want to try to make sure that you're trying to make it as symmetrical as possible. Alright, so you can see the shape. It's kind of like a M, a curvy M. Alright, then you put your lines here for your nostrils. Then you have your nostril holes right underneath there, just little. You just want a little bit of a shadow. Then you can put your nose here. That's for the round part of your nose right here. Alright, and then our lines, they come right up, and then right when they get to our eye, they kind of follow the eye shape like that. So they come up, and then they go back out again like that. Okay, do you guys see that? See how it fits onto the nose? Onto the face? Alright. Then we can add our little divot here. And that's more of just like a little shadow for this spot right here under your nose. Now our mouth. Sometimes this might be a good spot for the bottom of your mouth or the top of your mouth. You're going to have to look at it and see what you think, all right? I'm looking at mine and I see that that's a really good spot for the bottom of my mouth. So I'm going to go to the edges of my mouth right here and go straight up. And my mouth lines up with the middle of my eyes. So I'm going to go to the middle of the eyes here and I'm going to draw a line down so I know how wide the mouth should be. And if I'm looking at that, I might be like, well, I think that looks like a really wide mouth. So sometimes measurements aren't exact, and I'm going to bring it in just so that I think it looks a little bit more realistic. Okay? So this is going to end up being the bottom of my mouth. This will be the top of my mouth. And a lot of people like to do mouths like this. How many of you have ever done a mouth like that or seen a mouth like that? I'm sure many of you have. So what you want to be doing is making sure that your mouth comes to points on the edges like this. We'll do it here. Okay? Your mouth actually has points on the edges just like your eyes do. They come together at a slope. So if I'm going to start here, I'm going to bring my line up. I'm going to bring the divot down a little bit, and it divots back up that way. My mouth is wider than my nose. That is the top part of my top line. So I'm going to get rid of this line so you can see. Kind of looks like a bird, like how you used to, as a kid, draw birds, right, in the sky when you do sunsets or landscapes, all right? Now I have to do the bottom part of that top lip. So I'm here. I'm going to mimic that same line, and I'm going to bring the line down. Okay, so you can see the top part of my top lip and the bottom part of my top lip are the same shape. Now I'm going to do the bottom part. Again, see this angle that I'm showing you right here? It doesn't go straight up like this. It goes at an angle, okay? And then you bring this line and you bring it up to another angle. And you can get rid of your middle part. All right, and then that's how you can do a lip. If you want to make it smile, you would curve these lines up, okay? But maybe for today, we'll just start trying how to do it, just a regular straight mouth, okay? The next thing we want to do is ears, which are also a little bit tricky. So your ears come right above your eye. If you go to the top of your ear and go right across, they meet right above your eye. So I'm going to do a guideline right there, okay? Again, another guideline here. And if you go to the bottom of your eye, of your ear, right here, it goes right towards the bottom of your nose. So you do another guideline. Now it looks like those ears are going to be really big on my face. This one. Okay? However, your ears actually do take up a large part of your side of your face. Everyone thinks everyone has really tiny ears, but if you look at it, the ear does take up a large part of the side of your face, especially towards the bottom because you only have a jaw after your ear. So, to do my ear, we're going to do a pretty simple ear. You start at this line here, and you're going to bump it out, comes back down, like that, okay? So you can see that shape. Again, until we add hair, it's going to look a little bit silly. So we're going to now add the bottom part of it. That's kind of the inside your ear, how you have this line here, okay? And you can add the little divot there for this part of your ear right there. Okay, so again, I'm going to try to go over here and make it look as symmetrical as I can. Do that ear. Okay, so those are my two ears. Do they look the same size? They definitely don't now that I see that. So what I could do is make this one bigger or that one smaller. I think I'm going to make this one a bit bigger to make it symmetrical with that one. Okay, so bump it back out here a little bit. Okay. Now they look a little bit more symmetrical in size. Okay. So now we're going to be adding our neckline. Okay, so a lot of people think that the neck's little teeny necks like that. Would a little teeny neck like that support a head that size? No way, right? So what you need to be thinking about is, where does your neck start? So go to the side of your ears, right? Go to your neck and go all the way up. Your neck comes right behind your ears, all right? If you see my neck, it's not that much skinnier than my chin, okay? So you're here. I'm going to go right behind my ears where I just showed you on my face, and I'm going to bring my neck in a little bit like that, okay? So here's my chin, and here's my neckline, okay? I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. All right, again, see how I'm sketching? I don't get the first line right away. I have to kind of sketch, and then I will eventually get that right line, and then I erase the lines I don't need. So now next we have to do our shoulders. So most people want to do these teeny tiny shoulders that would be like that size. But again, having a head this big, your shoulders are not that close to your head. So look at my shoulders. Do you see the space between my shoulder and my head? If I were to draw a line like this, there's a good amount of space between my shoulder and head. So you want to make sure that you're drawing that space. These shoulders would actually go right off the page like that. Okay? And then over here, I'm going to draw another one. And again, it goes right off the page. All right? Make sure you're adding some clothes. You can design your clothes any way you want. Okay? So now, what does our person need? Needs our hair. Okay? So what a lot of people do is they start the hair up here and they forget that your hair goes right in front of your ear. Okay? Everybody has a little bit of sideburn. All right? So you want to start your hairline right in front of your ear. All right? You can also follow the shape of it. So if you look at mine, it comes up, comes back in, and I have this thing called a widow's peak. Some of you might have one, some of you might not. So if you do a hairline, if you want to draw your widow's peak, you can do that. So that would be the hairline. Now I have to actually draw the hair, okay? I'm going to draw a part like this, and then the hair on this side is actually going to go to this direction, okay, of your part. The hair on this side is going to go on this side, and you want to draw those individual strands. You're going to keep on going until you fill it in, right? But do you see how when you draw the actual individual strands, it starts to look like actual hair? If you have your hair down, you just go outside of your hair and you draw these lines coming down here. If you have your hair up, you would draw your lines, instead of going sideways, you would draw them going back, have it pulled back, okay? And then you can have a little pony. If you have short hair, instead of having long lines, if you have short hair, I'm going to show you, you can do little lines like so. You actually draw the individual strands of little hair. Okay? If you have short hair on one side and long hair on the other, you can do your part, do the little hairs here, and around where you get towards your ears is also pretty little, so you draw the individual little hairs, and then you can draw your long hair on this side, or longer hair, okay? So that's what I want you to try to do today. I want you to try to do your facial features. I want you to try to get the shape of the face. I want you to try to get the shape of the nose, the mouth. I'm going to post also some YouTube clips of how you can do the eye a little bit more in detail. So if you really like doing eyes and you want to focus on eyes, there'll be a tutorial on how to do that, a tutorial on a nose and some lips, and also to show you some shading. If you finish this today, I would love to have you decorate the background with words and images that represent who you are. Things that you like to do, people who are important in your life, places you've been that help make you who you are, activities you like, books you've read, things that make you who you are today in 2020. All right? I'm going to show you a couple examples I did of some portraits, just so you can get an idea. I think that portraits are like the hardest thing to do in art, because you look at your face every day, and it's hard to do that. So if you really just want to draw a portrait of a different person, not necessarily yourself, I'm okay with that too. So here's one example I took an art class for a couple years ago to work on figuring out how to draw the face a bit better. So I took a person and then I did an animal on the other side. And you can see I added a lot of shading and detail to kind of show the dimension of the face. So again, this is a lot of practice. So I'm just trying to show you how you can also make your composition, which is the layout of your work. If you want to do half a face and half an animal, you could do that too. I'll show you a couple more. I hope you guys are enjoying some time to get some sleep, maybe, to get some fresh air outside. It's important to make sure you're staying busy. Here's another one, a little bit more shading, a little bit of a different angle. It's not, it's not straight on. All right, I'll show you a couple more. And again, faces take a lot of practice and a lot of time, so don't get frustrated with it. Just try to practice doing it. You can look at a photograph if you want. You can look at a mirror, or you can just kind of do it out of your head, how I was just showing you. And here are a couple more portraits of people that I've done in pencil, okay? Again, if you look here, this one has quite a lot of detail. All right, so the eyes, the nose, the mouth. That would be the next step that we'll learn, is how to kind of do it with the shading with pencil and things. All right. If you need anything while we're not together at school, please reach out. You can contact me on Parent Square. You guys can contact me in Google Classroom. But I'm here for you. I'm here if you need anything. If you have any questions or want me to look at any kind of artwork, I would love to help you. So please do some art and submit it onto your Google Classroom. And I hope to see some of your portraits soon. Miss you all and hope you're staying healthy. Bye.